r/AskReddit. What's the biggest power move you've ever seen someone pull? The president of my dad's company asked for a side plate of just spaghetti and marinara from a fancy Italian fusion restaurant. The waiter looks down his nose at him with disdain and says, "We do not serve plain spaghetti here. Perhaps you would like to take another look at the menu?" Without missing a beat, he asks for a $5,000 bottle of wine with a plate of spaghetti. The restaurant suddenly changed their policy and gave him whatever food he wanted. I know a guy who asked to leave work early, and when the boss said no, he shit himself and said, "Now can I go?" Power movement. Slow golf clap. So I was cycling to my school and I saw a guy start one of those hand crank mechanical trailer music things. They look like orchestras, but it's just a machine. Anyway, I saw the guy crank it and start it at 7:30 AM in front of an apartment full of sleeping people. I don't know who that guy is or what the reason was, but I bet it was a good one. Myself. I worked at a semiconductor startup company where almost nobody spoke English. I was a white kid in a mostly Korean company. They had 9 interns plugging away reading simulations off of DOS/CMD prompt screens, pausing to take note of weird data, and then continuing for 8 hours a day. I got 20 minutes into it and gave up. Wrote a script to rip out all the data, mark the exceptional outputs with a checksum, and at the end of the simulation export the rip in a format similar to GPS NMEA. 'Twas compliment. Comedy limited that only I could redraw. Never wrote a user manual. Then, I borrowed the Google Vector Graph API and wrote a small script to inject my data into it to make a heat map, highlighting the important data. I grabbed those data points and reported them. The average intern was doing 20-ish simulations a day. I was doing about 80, 100k, based on how many times the shitty little laptop crashed. Interns were all let go in favor of me. I stayed for another 8 weeks of my own internship, and then I left. A week later I get a call asking how to use my scripts, and I told them pay me additional double my total internship value and I'd write a user manual. They did it very happily actually, and even put my name in the GUI they subsequently made as the creator. Too bad they got bought out by Synopsys. Saw the CEO of a telecoms company I worked for in a meeting I set up straight up tell the prospective customer he wasn't sure the business was worth his time. It was a £10 million, almost all profit, contract with minimal work required for it. One time I was at a nightclub in Miami and they refused to give out free water from the bar, only selling $13 bottles that were not allowed to be refilled. So I stole a plastic cup from the bar and went to the bathroom to fill it up. As I was putting water in the cup, the older Latino lady was shouting at me, "You pay, you pay." I said no way and went to the bathroom stall. This woman actually put her body between the door and edge of the stall so I couldn't close the door and grabbed my wrist attempting to make me dump it out. So while she was gripping my wrist, I put the cup to my mouth and slowly and loudly drank it while making and breaking eye contact. I then handed her the cup and she backed off after that. Honestly, I would have tipped her a few bones if she had just let me get water from the sink, but she got nothing from me and I'm sure she'll never forget that, lol. You shouldn't fire me. We had an employee that never had money, drove a crappy car, and shared a crappy studio apartment with 2 other people. We all assumed he had a drug problem that he wasted all of his money on. He started showing up to work late, leaving work early, and not doing his job. The reason he had no money was that he had bought the small office building we were in. We didn't know, since he didn't change property management companies. Our idiot CEO did anyway, so at the end of the year, at the end of our lease, he increased our yearly rent by exactly his old salary, to the penny. That was a power move.